Hey there guys and gals, welcome back to Back Pocket Game Reviews. I know, we're coming into the month where you're about to get a bunch of videos from me, and thankfully stuff is starting to slow down a bit in my life outside of all of the car fiascos. I'm also buried up to my neck in toy guides this year. We've got Amazon ones, this is a Meijer one, I think there's a Target one, there's a Walmart one. Every company, now that Toys R Us is gone, decided we need to make our own toy guide this year. Obviously there was a hole in the market, but I don't think everyone needed to rush to fill it. Amazon's is by far the best as well. GameStop even made one, crazy enough. So, but that's not what we're here to talk about today. We are actually here to talk about Camelot 331 getting sued by GameStop, or at least his video comes off as he's getting sued by GameStop, but it's actually by one employee, and it's a former employee, or a former co-worker, presumably a boss, because he doesn't really ever go into detail about the individual. However, it is someone he has talked about on his channel, and supposedly this person is not happy about the way that he was talked about. I do want to be very explicit here. He's never mentioned anyone's name. So this particular co-worker's name has never been mentioned, but he has said things about said co-worker. So this co-worker, boss, whoever he is, reached out on Twitter telling him to go check his, what the hell is that page called? Because no one uses it. It's the business networking social media thing. No one uses it. Okay, that's what the point is. God, it's gonna bother me that I can't remember the name. It's honestly not LinkedIn. It's LinkedIn. Yeah, LinkedIn's dead. Apparently, this individual messaged him on LinkedIn. After saying, go check your LinkedIn, he continued the conversation on LinkedIn, which is even weirder to me. Like, if you're already on Twitter, why wouldn't you have just used Twitter? 'Cause honestly, out of all of the social media services, Twitter probably has the most easy messaging service to really get behind. I get Facebook's has all these features, but Facebook's is trash. So this individual then states that he wants to press a lawsuit. There's a few issues with this. They go on to have a full-out conversation. It's a back and forth banter. I will say this, if you are ever thinking about pressing a lawsuit on someone, it's very stupid of you to ever contact that person, especially if you aren't in the right or aren't in the wrong. Like if you are, hey, a lot of the stuff you say can be used against you. So just keep that in mind. If you do want to see what was said to him, you can go watch his video. But whoever it is that reached out to him is a complete and utter moron, and literally has never heard the term keep your mouth shut. With that being said, they go back and forth. Now, my issue really kind of comes from a couple of things. If it is the manager that everyone is assuming that he is talking about, this particular manager has done some pretty shady things, assuming that Camelot isn't lying. So we're talking about discrimination, for all kinds of different things, all kinds of different discrimination, literally just being an all-around piece of shit. That part I probably believe him on the dude being a piece of shit. However, here's where my issue really kind of lies. First off, you never mention him. So even if you did want to pursue a lawsuit, it would be really hard for him to go after defamation of character, because technically his character was never attacked. Now, certain individuals who maybe worked with Cody previously have assumed that this is the individual and have maybe sent this up to corporate like, hey, do you know that this guy's done this? Possibly. That would be maybe my guess, because he states to Cody that they want to fire him. I doubt that's the case, because that would be based off of hearsay, and most companies aren't going to fire you just based off of hearsay. Don't get me wrong, GameStop is a crappy corporation that is hemorrhaging money worse than the Titanic was hemorrhaging water, but who knows, maybe they just want to cut down some profits. And let's be fair, if Cody isn't lying, then the dude is really a piece of shit. But my issues kind of come into play with Cody already said this individual wanted to sue him. I think he's made like 4 posts on YouTube and 2 videos saying that GameStop is suing him. Maybe 2 or 3 videos saying GameStop is suing him. So we're kind of at like a boy who cried wolf kind of situation. You've complained about the same issue, and it's never come to fruition. Like, it's never happened. And I get it. You say, oh, I'm not doing this for money. I don't need your all's money. But people are going to super chat you now when you're streaming. And that's not a problem. I have no issues with people super chatting you. I fully believe you should support, donate to your favorite streamers and all of that stuff. I do donate to streamers on occasion. There are times where some of you have actually seen me in streamers' chats, just randomly. And I do try to share out smaller streamers who follow my channel. That is something I've always tried to do. Every now and then you will see me share a streamer on Twitter. They're usually Twitch streamers, oddly enough. Occasionally you'll see me share like a YouTube streamer, or my wife who is a Facebook streamer. And I'm not against people going and super chatting you. I am against people super chatting you under the preface that they think you're being sued and they are now trying to help you. And I get it. You say you don't need their money, but then you go on to talk about depression. And if you are depressed, you really should seek help, or find something to try to fix it yourself. I get that that could be a little difficult. Trust me, I'm well aware and well versed on depression. A lot of you probably remember that's kind of why a lot of my videos died down in the beginning of the year. As I slowly started to get stuff back on track, shit popped off at my work. And then my car started having issues. And here we are now with me getting geared up for the holidays. Yes, Black Friday! Oh man, as a retail worker, it's shocking that I still get excited for that. So here's my other issue though, and this is the one that people seemingly don't talk about. If this dude was said piece of shit and you worked for him for around 10 years, is what I'm assuming, somewhere in that time frame there, and you watched him discriminate against people because of their race, gender, all of these different things, those things are called illegal. Highly illegal. And GameStop's HR would have stepped in. And I get it, sometimes HR plays a game of let's cover our own ass rather than have a lawsuit, we'll just sweep this under the rug. But the fact that you sat there quietly and tried to do nothing and let your morals just take a back seat doesn't speak very highly to me wanting to take your morals for granted now. I'm not like, oh man, yeah, no, Cody's got great morals. Cody's a really stand-up guy. He defends his morals. Now that you don't need them anymore, you're willing to go after it. I get it. And don't get me wrong, there was a time period where I worked at GameStop and I loved the job. Happens. A lot of us tend to really like it. And the reason why is because I'm not sitting there trying to sell you X product in retail that I don't give 2 craps about. I'm selling you a product I'm passionate about. I'm talking to you about something that I love. We're talking about games, something important to me. And something I already know is important to you because you just stepped foot into a game store. Maybe it's you might just be shopping for a gift, but chances are you're not. People don't go to GameStop to shop for a gift. If you want to buy a game for someone as a gift, you probably went to a Walmart even to buy that GameStop gift card, not to an actual GameStop. Let's be completely legitimate about this. No. I mean, we get GameStop gift cards for my kids for their birthdays and Christmas and stuff all the time. People don't go to GameStop to buy them. They bought them at, like, Kroger because they can get fuel points and stuff along those lines. So, and I get enjoying the job and needing the job for money reasons. But GameStop's not a well-paying job. It's not like it's something hard to replace. I mean, almost any retailer, hell, Target starts their part-timers at more than what GameStop pays their store managers. That's sad. That's really sad. It is what it is, and it kind of bothers me that it's, oh, this guy's such a terrible dude. I watched him do all of it and didn't do anything about it, but he's a terrible dude. And I get it. You can share your horror stories. You should share your horror stories. I still have plenty more that I've been sitting on. I still haven't talked about Changed My Mind Guy. One day we're going to talk about Changed My Mind Guy. Maybe one day we'll even talk about some of the crappy things that GameStop managers do to meet numbers and sales goals. Who knows? Who knows? But I am getting ready to gear back up, and here we are, just diving right on in, right into the deep end. And it bothers me because no one seems to call it out. There are a lot of people who say his stories seem fishy or BS. I'm not saying that this part about this store manager is fishy or BS. There are a lot of times where Cody has a lot of wrong information that he gets off of Reddit. That's kind of where you should have known that it was possibly wrong information because it's Reddit. Look, I'm not saying Reddit's always wrong. I'm just saying you probably shouldn't trust a site 100% up front that literally has a category titled to sexy dead bodies. It's a trust thing. You do you. If that's where you want to trust your news sources from, more power to you. But it's really hard for me to want to be like, yeah, I believe everything you say, especially when you negligently watched all of this happen. You didn't even make an attempt until you didn't work for the company. Then you had the people on that he did this to, and none of them are like, oh man, Cody, why didn't you go up to bat for me? Why didn't you help me? Why didn't you tell me that he didn't like me because of the color of my skin earlier? Just saying. That's all I'm getting at. But even if he was to get sued right now, so if this lawsuit did go through, it would be really hard to really say that. Now, don't get me wrong, I get it. You can say, hey, no, he's talking about me. I know he's talking about me because I did those things. But then you just painted yourself guilty, and then it's no longer defamation of character. So that's a really hard lawsuit to argue against. And please stop wording it as GameStop is suing you. Because they're not. This one dude who clearly doesn't know anything about the law to begin with, because he contacted you, which any lawyer would have told him to not do, and to let the legal channels handle it and to shut his damn mouth. But here we are. So, if he's getting sued, he's probably going to be fine. So when he tells you he's going to lose everything in a very depressed manner, probably not the case. But if you are that depressed, like if you literally are as depressed as what you kind of lead it on to be, and I get it, some people who are depressed put on a happy face while being depressed. It's pretty common. Not everyone handles depression the same way. It was very hard for me to maintain any kind of happy face a lot of the times during it, but that's just the way I handle it. I'm a very extroverted person. My emotions are usually very much so on my sleeve, and I'm a very opinionated person, so I say what's on my mind, whether I should or not. Trust me, I know it gets me in trouble a lot at work. But I am curious to where you guys stand on this. Do you believe him? Do you believe that he's getting sued? Do you think... I want your opinion, and I don't even really know how to really 100% phrase the question. Do you think he should have reached out? If this dude really was the POS that he claims that he was, or that the other people have claimed that he was, why didn't anyone reach out to HR? You start getting enough complaints from more than just one person, HR's going to do something about the person that's getting complained against. They can't sweep it all under the rug, and if they do try to sweep it under the rug and fire you, you then have a wrongful termination lawsuit, even if you live in a state that is an at-will state, meaning they can fire you at any time for any reason, which I live in. You can still go after them for a wrongful termination lawsuit if you can prove it was against that. Cody could have easily testified for you in a court of law if he heard this person say anything along those lines. Just saying, something smells like fish. Man. Weird reference. We're not going to go there. Guys, if you're new here, you should click thumbs up. That helps other people see my content. If you want to follow me anywhere else, the links are as always in the description box down below for my Patreon, Teespring, Xbox, PSN, pretty much everywhere I am except for my Nintendo Switch. The easiest way to find me on the Nintendo Switch is to follow me on Twitter, and I post it on there all the time, and I have mine linked, so you can send me a friend request right off of that. Cool, right? But yeah, that's where I'm going to leave you all. That's the parting words of because I really didn't know how else to end this video, and I haven't really made a lot of full videos recently, especially ones that are me going in on people. Deep! But if you're new here, don't forget to click that subscribe button. And if you do that, you have to do the two-part step. It's like a two-part authentication method. You then have to ding the bell. That's to make sure that you're really, really sure you want notifications for me. And I get it. Sometimes it's a tall task. I am a very weird guy. And you should stick around because I have plenty more content coming for y'all, and I'll see you soon.